probably going to have more fun with our daughter than I am.
Why? Because I'm such a nerd?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally am. I really totally am. Point proven by the fact that I haven't watched really any of these, and I know what the titles are.
Exactly.
I'm a nerd. It's Saturday, and it's chapter day, and I'm recording, and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Hey, I'm having fun. Fuck you.
Well, in that case.
Anyway, we're on book number 5. Holy shit.
Woo-hoo!
I know, right? Woo! But holy shit, we're on book number 5 of Reaper Adventures, which is Reaper Adventures, and the subtitle is called Final Awakening. And I have a actually really awesome rough draft cover on this.
I'm gonna go in and watch porn. I mean, play PlayStation.
You have fun watching porn. I mean, playing PlayStation. Anyway, book number 5. Don't bring your kids, obvious reasons. I mean, come on. But it's not people kid friendly. It's for mature audiences only. I mean, we know there's no sex scenes or written curse words. Written curse words. Emphasis on the written part, because I will swear up a storm on occasions. But moving on. In this book, however, there is the destruction of Jeromson. We all remember the serial killer from the first book. Well, this book has his murder scene. I think I got too much spit in the corner. Obviously, there's fight scene, quite a bit of fight scenes. There is also a deal between the demon and the Archangel Michael, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other things that I have forgot to write down to mention to let you know that it is not people kid friendly, but you know the main majority reason of why it's not people kid friendly, so don't bring your people kids, and we're gonna go with that one. But we're going to start off with the prologue in chapter 1. It's relatively short. I mean, it is short. The prologue and the chapter 1 is just a combination of shortness. But you know the reasons to not bring your people kids. I feel so weird reading with people in the same room.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know why.
No, Blackberry, you're not getting on my stash. Leave me alone.
Anyway, we're going with the prologue. So, prologue. Raven woke from his nightmare, drenched in a cold sweat and trying to steady his breathing. He had been having this reoccurring nightmare for a couple of weeks now. He wasn't the only one who was having it, either. Every passing night, the nightmare grew more vivid and more like it was going to happen. More like Jeromson was going to burn than it just being a horrible, disturbing, and vivid nightmare. Yeah. Raven didn't like it. And he slowly stood up to relieve his bladder, because, you know, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you tend to realize you have to pee. I don't know why that happens, but it just happens. Anyway, moving on. He instantly saw Nathaniel. Surprise! Oh, and in case you're wondering who's on that rough draft of the cover, that was actually Nathaniel. Raven didn't think anything of it until he remembered that Nathaniel hadn't been seen recently, hadn't been invited to dinner, and didn't have a key. Raven blinked and cleared his throat as Nathaniel rummaged through the refrigerator. We have a person who breaks in and rummages through the refrigerator in the prologue. That's literally what he's doing. He broke into the house and is just like, I'm looking for chocolate. Shut up.
That's alright. Your fur baby just came out the closet.
Oh, did she now? I mean, I always knew she was a lesbo kitty.
More than the neighbor's kitties.
Oh. Anyway, moving on. I knew you were there the whole time, Raven. There is no need to clear your throat, Nathaniel stated as he closed the refrigerator door and turned his unseeing gaze to Raven. Or at least, Raven assumed Nathaniel couldn't see, considering his eyes were sewn shut. Now Raven wasn't so sure about that obvious conclusion. What are you doing? Raven asked Nathaniel. I was searching for chocolate as well as hoping you and Contessa, of all people, had heeded my warnings. Nathaniel replied. What are you talking about? Raven inquired with confusion. Raven inquired with confusion. Humans are easier to warn about plans of the angelic order while they sleep. Everyone in Jeromeson has been receiving the same warning and believing it to be nothing more than a horribly vivid, extremely disturbing nightmare. Nathaniel explained. Raven was silent as he realized Nathaniel was the one giving them the nightmare. Oops, no, I'm reading that wrong. My bad. We're gonna reread that because I read that one wrong. Raven was silent as he realized Nathaniel giving them nightmares was him attempting to warn everyone in Jeromeson of what was going to happen, no matter what. You're warning everyone, Raven breathed. Nathaniel gave a nod of confirmation. Unfortunately, no one is listening, Nathaniel said. And how is it your house has no chocolate? Nathaniel questioned. Chocolate is in the cabinet above the sink in the way back, Raven told Nathaniel, unsure of why he thought Nathaniel would be able to see it. Nathaniel was able to see the mentioned chocolate, grabbed a few bars, and looked at Raven. May I give you some advice? Nathaniel asked as he opened a chocolate bar. Because, chocolate, it just makes the world a much better place. And so does Mountain Dew. I thought that was good. Moving on. Raven nodded as a response. Convince as many people as you can to leave Jeromeson, because in 3 days' time, that nightmare will become truth, and Jeromeson will be no more, just smoldering ruins. Nathaniel told Raven, and then left Raven's and Contessa's home, closing and locking the door behind him. That's the end of the prologue, so now we move on to chapter 1, because that's just what I do. I read the prologue and chapter 1, and then, moving on. Chapter 1. Cerberus, Meskina, Baoyo, Bart, Loki, Ael, and Damon were preparing themselves for the influx of souls that were to enter the spirit realm in 3 days. Cerberus had reluctantly quit his job at Jeromeson Morgue, while Baoyo, Bart, and Ayo had placed a sign on the Dragonfire bookstore and cafe's door that they were on vacation. Of course, the sign itself doesn't have the little parentheses, but still. Loki didn't argue and Meskina didn't go to school, and Damon wouldn't have been able to do anything anyway. They all knew that this course of action was to draw out the Nephilim and his allies. No one liked it, though. No one could argue with it, though. Serena knocked on Cerberus's door, smiling and greeting when he opened the door. Okay. Mr. Underworld, I hear you quit your job at Jeromeson Morgue, Serena commented. Cerberus stepped aside to let her and the Dioan, let her and the Dioan in human form inside their apartment. I didn't realize that me quitting had any interest to the police, Cerberus said with confusion as he closed the door. It's a day off for me, Serena told Cerberus. Oh, Cerberus mumbled, glancing at the Dioan. Well, in that case, can I get you two anything to drink? Cerberus asked with a polite smile. I'll have some water, Serena replied. I'm good, Chris told Cerberus. Cerberus got a cup of water for Serena, who took it with a thank you. Serena started a conversation with a former morgue technician, and after making some fudge for him, she cleaned the dishes. It's not as bad as last week. My muddling of words is not as bad as last week. I am quite happy. Moving on. Making some fudge for him, she cleaned the dishes she had dirtied, listening to the news in the background. For the simple reason of it being a nightmare, no one mentioned it. Serena knew she wasn't the only one who was having the nightmare, though. Her co-worker, Detective Draco Mort, had mentioned that he was having the same nightmare. Jay Mole, the receptionist, had mentioned it as well when he had spoken to Jacqueline Haggs. Jacqueline Haggs had told Chief Law she was going to leave Jeromeson and had done so after turning in her badge and gun. Chief Law had mumbled something about that damn nightmare and had reluctantly counted the number of badges that had been turned in yesterday. That kind of sucks. Yeah, moving on. Jeromeson's police officers weren't the only ones leaving either. Bus drivers and hospital staff were leaving Jeromeson altogether. Normal citizens were leaving as well, not looking back as they packed the essentials and drove away, some leaving by themselves and others with their families. However, even with people leaving Jeromeson, more people were staying with the stubbornness that Serena herself had. Serena had made a home here in Jeromeson, and she wasn't about to leave it over some very vivid and disturbing nightmare. Cerberus said goodbye to Serena and Chris when they took their leave. He took some of the fudge Serena had made and took a bite with a grateful sigh. Because, chocolate makes the world a better place. I don't care who you are. I will argue with that. Chocolate makes the world a better place. Continuing. Barrio, Bart, and Ayo appeared in the kitchen and told Cerberus about their day. Cerberus told them about Serena's surprise visit, and then they went to the clearing in the woods when Mescanet, Loki, and Damon showed up. Training went well into the night, and Cerberus remained awake when training was done. He didn't like the approved decision to draw out the Nephilim and his allies. He only hoped the deal in protecting Serena would get her and themselves out of Jeromeson. I told you it was short. But that is the end of the prologue and chapter 1 of book number 5, which is Reaper Adventures Final Awakening, with this totally awesome rough draft of a cover. I don't care who you are, that's awesome. But, that's the end of chapter 1, as well as the prologue of book number 5, Reaper Adventures Final Awakening. Gotta remember. That's a kind of long little subtitle. Moving on. Anyway, I have some accounts if any of you are all interested. As I repeatedly say, week after week, I have accounts if you are all interested. I have a Wattpad account, which is at Tempesta771. I also have a TikTok account, which is at AirJunCraven2, no uppercases or space. I have an Instagram account, which is under the name Tempesta Braveheart, no uppercases or space. It's a very long name. Holy shit. Anyway. Excuse me, I burped. I have a Facebook account, which is under the name Erdrin Craven, and if I don't know you, I will try to accept your friend requests, and if you turn out to be like the, extreme level of creepy, like the stalker kind of extreme level of creepy, I'm gonna block your ass, because that should be creepy, and no one likes it. Moving on. I also have a Snapchat, which is also under the name Erdrin Craven, but my Snapchat has no uppercases or space, and you're all watching my YouTube, which is a very short chapter this week, because that was a very short chapter. That was a short chapter that included the prologue, but we're watching my YouTube, which is under the name Tempest Braveheart, and we are done with chapter 1, as well as the prologue of book number 5 of Reaper Adventures Final Awakening. So, yeah. You know why not to bring your people kids, because obviously not people kid friendly. But yeah. Next week will be chapter 2. And then we'll go on from there. So, boom, 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 boom. Okay. We're all done. Next week will be chapter 2. Peace out, Girl Scouts, and enjoy the mental hilarity.